Commander Lisa Wright stared at the flashing red warning on her screen. The message had arrived only moments ago from an unknown source beyond Neptune's orbit. Strange symbols raced across her monitor before the Earth Defense Force computers translated them. Attention inferior species. This world is now property of the Vex Collective. Surrender or face extinction. Lisa opened a channel to Central Command. Sir, you need to see this. Before she could explain further, the orbital station shook violently. Warning sirens blared as oxygen began venting into space from a nearby section. Through the viewport, Lisa watched in horror as the research platform 2 kilometers away erupted in silent flame. They didn't even wait for our answer, she whispered. The Vex ships appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. Massive black vessels shaped like elongated diamonds, their surfaces rippling with strange blue energy. Earth's defense systems activated automatically, but the missiles exploded harmlessly against Vex shields. In the White House Situation Room, President Harris watched the satellite feeds with growing dread. "What are our options, General?" she asked. General Frank Miller shook his head. "Conventional weapons are ineffective. We're attempting to establish communication." A holographic screen flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure with gray skin, multiple eyes arranged in a circular pattern, and a mouth that moved wrong when it spoke. "Your species has been evaluated and found suitable for processing," the alien announced. "Resistance is irrational. Submit to categorization and resource extraction." The president leaned forward. "We wish to discuss peaceful terms. We need time to prepare our people for this change." The alien's eyes blinked in sequence. "Your request is noted. You have 6 of your Earth rotations to organize your surrender. To demonstrate our superiority, we will now provide a sample of consequences for resistance." The transmission cut off. 30 seconds later, reports flooded in of an energy beam striking Beijing. The entire city and surrounding areas were gone, leaving only a smoking crater. 2 billion people watched the destruction on their screens. Panic spread across the globe as governments scrambled to respond. In a secure underground facility beneath Colorado, military analyst John Carter reviewed the Vex transmission patterns. "They're following a predictable conquest strategy," he explained to the Joint Chiefs. "This isn't their first invasion. They're treating us like every other species they've encountered." "What does that tell us?" asked Admiral Peters. John pulled up a series of calculations. "They expect a standard response, either immediate surrender or disorganized resistance. Their tactics suggest they've never faced a species that adapted quickly under pressure." "So what do we do?" someone asked. Lisa Wright, now evacuated from the damaged orbital station, stepped forward. "We give them exactly what they expect. On the surface, we appear to negotiate surrender terms while secretly preparing." The president authorized the plan the next day. As diplomatic channels opened with the Vex, Earth's militaries mobilized in secret. Scientists worked around the clock studying the limited data on Vex technology. Special forces prepared for asymmetric warfare. Dr. Olivia Bell, head of the Neural Enhancement Division, presented her controversial research to the Emergency Scientific Council. "We've been developing neural pathway stimulation for medical applications," she explained. "With modifications, we might enhance human cognitive and physical capabilities beyond normal limits." "You're talking about experimenting on humans," someone objected. Olivia nodded grimly. "I have 300 volunteers already, including myself. The Vex expect us to behave like every other species they've conquered. Our only advantage is that we won't." As the deadline approached, the Vex commander received Earth's official response, a carefully crafted message suggesting partial compliance and requesting further discussion. "Predictable negotiation tactics," the commander noted to its subordinates. "Begin landing operations. Resistance will be minimal and disorganized." The Vex didn't understand their fundamental mistake. They had studied human biology, technology, and apparent limitations, but they had missed something crucial about the species they sought to conquer. Humans didn't accept defeat. When pushed to the edge of extinction, They didn't surrender. They evolved. 6 months after the Vex arrived, Earth was no longer the same. Major cities lay in ruins. Smoke filled the sky, blocking the sun in many regions. Vex ships patrolled constantly, their dark shapes casting shadows over the broken landscape below. In what was once Chicago, aliens had built a massive processing center. Humans were brought there in large groups. The Vex sorted them into 3 categories: laborers for their mining operations, test subjects for their labs, and those deemed unnecessary biomass, who were never seen again. Kelly Martinez crouched behind a collapsed wall, watching the processing center through binoculars. Once a high school chemistry teacher, she now led a small resistance cell. Her clothes were dirty and torn, but her eyes remained sharp and focused. "They're moving another group in," she whispered to the man beside her. Paul Evans nodded. A former delivery driver, he had joined Kelly's group after his family was taken. Same time as yesterday. "They never change their schedule." "That's their weakness," Kelly said. "They think they've won, so they've become predictable." The resistance couldn't win direct battles against Vex technology. Instead, they focused on gathering information, helping people escape, and small strikes that kept the aliens off balance. Most importantly, they collected data on Vex weaknesses. 50 feet underground, beneath the ruins of a university, Dr. Olivia Bell worked in a hidden lab. The space was cramped, filled with salvaged equipment and makeshift tools. 20 scientists and doctors worked alongside her, their faces thin from months of limited food. "Hand me that solution," Olivia said to her colleague Sam Daniels. He passed her a vial of clear liquid. Olivia carefully added drops to a brain tissue sample. Under the microscope, she watched neural connections form at an accelerated rate. "The enhancement protocol is working," she told Sam. "We're seeing a 40% increase in neural pathway development." Sam looked concerned. "What about the side effects?" Olivia's face grew serious. "Still significant. The first volunteers experienced severe pain, nosebleeds, and in 2 cases, brain hemorrhaging. But we're making progress." Their work on the neural enhancement protocol had started before the invasion as a medical treatment. Now, it had a new purpose: to push human capabilities beyond normal limits. If successful, enhanced humans might stand a chance against Vex technology. Meanwhile, Navy SEAL Alan Rodriguez led a different kind of resistance halfway across the world. His team specialized in direct action against Vex targets. They moved constantly, never staying in one place for more than a day. Tonight, they prepared to raid a Vex communication relay. Alan checked his makeshift EMP device, built from stolen Vex parts and human electronics. "Remember, we have 3 minutes after this triggers," he told his team of 8 fighters. "Get the data and get out. Don't try to fight them directly." The raid went according to plan. The EMP knocked out Vex systems temporarily. The team downloaded valuable data about Vex communications before disappearing into the night. Back at their hidden camp, Alan reviewed what they'd stolen. "This confirms what we suspected," he told his second-in-command, Maria Lopes. "Their entire command structure relies on quantum communication networks. If we can disrupt those networks, we might break their coordination." Maria finished his thought. Across the globe, thousands of small resistance groups like Alan's and Kelly's fought in different ways. They discovered that Vex bodies couldn't handle certain Earth bacteria. They learned that Vex commanders always stayed behind their troops. They noticed that Vex never changed tactics once established. Most importantly, they discovered that the Vex were growing complacent. The aliens believed human resistance was merely the dying struggle of a defeated species. They didn't realize that with each passing day, humans were learning, adapting, and preparing. In her underground lab, Olivia injected the newest version of the enhancement formula into a volunteer's spine. The woman gasped, her back arching in pain. Then, slowly, her breathing steadied. When she opened her eyes, they seemed to focus with new intensity. "How do you feel?" Olivia asked. The woman smiled slightly, like I can see everything more clearly now. Like I finally understand how to fight back. Somewhere above, a Vex ship passed overhead, unaware that beneath the ruins of a conquered world, humanity was changing in ways the aliens could never anticipate. 1 year after the invasion, hope began to replace fear. Dr. Olivia Bell's neural enhancement protocol was working. Each new version caused fewer side effects while producing stronger results. The procedure unlocked human potential that had remained dormant for thousands of years. In a hidden facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Olivia watched as Eric Foster, the 100th volunteer to receive the treatment, solved complex equations faster than any computer. The enhancement is affecting different people in different ways, she explained to General Miller. Some develop incredible mental processing abilities. Others show enhanced physical strength or reflexes. A few have displayed limited telekinetic capabilities. Telekinetic? The general asked with raised eyebrows. Olivia nodded, moving small objects with their minds. Nothing dramatic, but it suggests the human brain has untapped potential. The early volunteers had suffered terribly. Headaches, seizures, and in 3 tragic cases, death. But the current version was stable. Enhanced humans could now process information 10 times faster than normal, learn new skills in days rather than months, and coordinate with each other with almost telepathic precision. Meanwhile, Alan Rodriguez's resistance network had grown. Small cells operated in every region under Vex control. They communicated using old radio technology the aliens ignored as primitive and worthless. Tonight, Alan led a daring mission. His team of 12 enhanced soldiers approached a grounded Vex command ship. Rain poured down, giving them extra cover as they moved silently through the darkness. "Guards change in 30 seconds," whispered Maria Lopez, who could now track multiple moving targets simultaneously thanks to her enhanced perception. The team waited, then moved with perfect coordination. They neutralized the guards using weapons designed to exploit newly discovered Vex vulnerabilities. Their nervous systems were sensitive to certain electrical frequencies that human bodies could tolerate. Inside the ship, they found something unexpected: a complete map of Vex territory. "They lied about their empire," Alan said as he downloaded the data. "They've only conquered 17 worlds, not hundreds, and they're facing resistance from other species." This discovery changed everything. The Vex weren't an unstoppable force spanning the galaxy. They were bullies who relied on fear and intimidation to conquer less aggressive species. The team also found details about the Vex command structure. The aliens functioned like a hive, with each individual connected to a central intelligence. They lacked human creativity and adaptability. They followed patterns and protocols without deviation. That's why they keep using the same tactics, Maria realized. They can't think individually. The next day, resistance leaders from around the world gathered via secure communication. Kelly Martinez reported success in infiltrating Vex labor camps and freeing prisoners. Olivia Bell shared that over 500 humans had now been successfully enhanced. Alan Rodriguez presented his findings about Vex weaknesses. "The time has come to coordinate our efforts," General Miller told them. "In 2 weeks, we strike globally." Preparations accelerated. Enhanced humans trained others. Weapons were distributed. Plans were finalized. On a rain-soaked night exactly 2 weeks later, enhanced human operatives infiltrated Vex communication hubs simultaneously across the globe. Each team carried devices designed to disrupt the quantum network the aliens relied on. Alan checked his watch as his team moved into position outside the main communication tower in what was once Seattle. "All teams in position," Maria reported through their secure channel. Alan took a deep breath. "Send the message." At precisely midnight, resistance fighters worldwide activated their devices. For the first time since the invasion, the Vex quantum network went silent. Confusion spread through alien ranks as they lost connection to their hive mind. At the same moment, enhanced human soldiers led strikes against key Vex positions. They moved with impossible speed, anticipated alien responses, and adapted tactics in real time. In her underground command center, Olivia Bell watched data streaming in from around the world. "It's working," she whispered. "The counterattack has begun." The Vex had pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. Now they would learn what humans were truly capable of when fighting for survival. The Vex never expected such coordinated resistance. For 3 weeks, humans struck at alien positions around the globe. Enhanced soldiers moved with impossible speed and precision. They targeted Vex officer castes first, creating chaos in the alien ranks. In what was once downtown Los Angeles, Kelly Martinez led a team of 20 fighters. They moved through the ruins, attacking a Vex patrol from multiple directions at once. "They can't adapt to changing tactics," Kelly told her team. "Hit them fast, then change position before they can respond." The aliens fired energy weapons at empty spaces where humans had been seconds before. Meanwhile, Kelly's team picked them off one by one using weapons designed to pierce Vex armor at specific weak points. Across the ocean, Alan Rodriguez captured a regional Vex command center with minimal casualties. His enhanced soldiers processed battlefield information 10 times faster than normal humans. They could predict Vex movements before they happened. "They always follow the same patterns," Alan explained to a group of new recruits. "Once you see the pattern, you can exploit it." The Vex commanders were confused. Their reports described impossible scenarios. Humans appearing to communicate without speaking, anticipating attacks before they happened, and adapting strategies faster than the aliens could respond. Most disturbing to the Vex was how humans seemed to grow stronger with each defeat, learning and evolving in ways the aliens couldn't understand. In her underground laboratory, Dr. Olivia Bell worked on something even more ambitious than the neural enhancement protocol. She called it Project Prometheus. "The enhancements have proven our bodies can be improved," she explained to General Miller. "But Project Prometheus isn't just about enhancing our bodies. It's about weaponizing human creativity." The general looked skeptical. "Explain." Olivia pointed to the data screens around them. "The Vex think in linear patterns. Humans make creative leaps. We've assembled teams of enhanced scientists, engineers, and even artists to reimagine how we can use Vex technology against them." Meanwhile, space engineer Kevin Weber led a special project at a hidden facility in the Nevada desert. His team had captured several Vex ships intact and was taking them apart. "They built everything for efficiency," Kevin told his engineers as they examined alien technology. "But efficiency isn't always the best approach for weapons. We're rebuilding these ships for maximum damage." The Vex had designed their ships to be operated by their hive mind. Kevin's team redesigned them to be piloted by enhanced humans. Where Vex ships were functional but basic, the human-modified versions incorporated unpredictable attack patterns and stealth capabilities. "They won't expect their own technology to be used against them," Kevin said with a smile. "And they certainly won't expect what we've done to improve it." As human resistance grew stronger, the remaining Vex forces retreated to their strongholds in major cities. They sent desperate messages to their homeworld, requesting reinforcements. The responses were delayed and confused. The Vex Collective had never encountered a species that fought back so effectively after initial defeat. 1 month after the global counterattack began, the first human-modified Vex destroyer broke atmosphere. Its black hull had been repainted with the new symbol of human resistance, a phoenix rising from flames. Enhanced pilots, their minds linked directly to the ship's systems through interfaces Dr. Bell designed, took the battle to the Vex fleet in orbit. The alien commanders watched in disbelief as their supposedly superior ships were outmaneuvered by human pilots. The modified destroyer moved in ways Vex ships weren't designed to move, firing weapons that had been reconfigured to exploit alien shield weaknesses. In the White House Situation Room, now back under human control, President Harris watched the space battle on large screens. "They thought we would be easy to conquer," she said. "They never understood what humans do when pushed too far. We don't just fight back. We revolutionize the way war is fought." As the first Vex orbital platforms exploded, a cheer went up from the assembled military leaders. For the first time since the invasion, victory seemed possible. Not just on Earth, but beyond. 2 years after the invasion began, Earth was nearly free. Cities remained in ruins, but the skies no longer darkened with Vex ships. The remaining aliens retreated to their fleet in orbit, only to find their ships compromised by human-engineered viruses that spread through their networks. Enhanced human pilots, connected to ships through neural interfaces, Dr. Bell designed, outmaneuvered the rigid Vex formations. Kevin Weber's modifications to captured alien vessels gave humanity an edge the Vex never expected. In what was once Washington, D.C., military leaders gathered in a partially rebuilt White House. President Harris addressed the assembled commanders. "We have nearly won the battle for Earth," she said, "but our fight may just be beginning." General Miller stepped forward with a holographic display showing the location of other worlds conquered by the Vex. "We've interrogated captured Vex officers," he explained. "They've revealed the coordinates of their empire. 17 worlds, all with populations enslaved just as they try to enslave us." Among those listening was Alan Rodriguez, now promoted to Admiral of Earth's growing space fleet. His experiences fighting the Vex had left scars across his face, but his eyes remained determined. "What are you suggesting?" he asked. "That we just leave those other species to suffer?" The room fell silent. For 2 years, humans had focused only on survival. Now they faced a new question. What kind of survivors would they be? Dr. Olivia Bell spoke up from her seat at the table. "We have an opportunity to do something unprecedented. The Vex never expected us to beat them here. They certainly won't expect us to take the fight to them." In a secure facility beneath the Nevada desert, Kelly Martinez watched as enhanced human soldiers trained with modified Vex weapons. Once a chemistry teacher leading a small resistance cell, she now commanded Earth's elite special forces. "These troops are ready," she told Kevin Weber as they observed the training. "They could deploy to other worlds within weeks." Kevin nodded. He had spent months studying the Vex faster-than-light drive system. "With the modifications we've made to their FTL technology, we can reach their nearest conquered territory in less than a month. The original Vex design would have taken years." At a hidden laboratory in Colorado, Dr. Bell connected with the captured Vex commander. The alien was secured in a specialized containment unit that prevented it from self-destructing, a common response when Vex were captured. "Tell me about the worlds you've conquered," she said. The alien's multiple eyes blinked in sequence. "You don't understand what you're doing," it warned. "The collective will bring its full might against you." "Then help us understand," Dr. Bell replied calmly. "What will we find on these worlds?" The Vex hesitated, then spoke. 17 species, all useful in different ways, all properly subjugated. "Do they resist?" Dr. Bell asked. They did. Then they learned the futility of resistance. Dr. Bell smiled slightly, just as humans were supposed to learn. The alien didn't respond. Later that day, Dr. Bell and Kevin Weber presented their findings to the newly formed Human Defense Council. "We've analyzed their FTL drive completely," Weber explained, pointing to technical diagrams. "With our modifications, we can reach their conquered territories in weeks, not years. And we know what we'll find there," Bell added. 17 worlds of enslaved species waiting for liberation. President Harris looked around the room at the assembled leaders. "This is no small decision. We would be taking Earth's military beyond our solar system for the first time. We would be engaging in a war across multiple star systems." Admiral Rodriguez stood. "With respect, Madam President, we're already in that war. The Vex brought it to us. Now we have a chance to bring it to them." The vote was unanimous. Earth would not merely defend. It would take the fight to the stars. 2 weeks later, the first human liberation fleet departed Earth orbit. Led by Admiral Rodriguez aboard the flagship Defiance, the fleet carried a simple mission: free the enslaved worlds and build a coalition against the Vex collective. As the ships engaged their FTL drives, humanity crossed a threshold. For the first time, they ventured beyond their solar system, not as explorers, but as liberators. The human fleet arrived at Proxima Centauri after 23 days of faster-than-light travel. The fourth planet in the system was home to the Kiruna, a species of avian beings with feathered crests and 4 wings. According to Vex records, they had been conquered 50 years ago. Admiral Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching the planet grow larger on the main screen. Vex ships orbited the world, their black hulls reflecting the red light of Proxima Centauri. "They don't know we're here yet," said Maria Lopez, now his second in command. Their enhanced senses had allowed the human fleet to detect Vex positions without being spotted. "Let's keep it that way until we're ready," Rodriguez replied. He opened a channel to the rest of the fleet. "We hit their command centers first, just like we did on Earth. Then we make contact with the locals." The battle lasted less than 3 hours. Human-modified ships attacked with unpredictable patterns that confused the Vex defense grid. Enhanced pilots linked directly to their vessels outmaneuvered enemy ships at every turn. Within hours, the Vex orbital platforms were destroyed or captured. On the surface, Kelly Martinez led Special Forces teams to key Vex facilities. They moved with practiced efficiency, neutralizing alien resistance before the Vex could organize a response. "These aren't the same aliens we fought on Earth," Kelly told her troops as they secured a processing center. "They seem less coordinated, like they've been cut off from their main collective." After the major Vex positions were secured, Dr. Bell established contact with the Kiruna leadership. The avian beings were cautious, their feathered crests flattening against their heads in what seemed to be a sign of fear or suspicion. Their leader, translated as Wind Singer, met with the human delegation in a crystal structure that had somehow survived the Vex occupation. His large eyes blinked rapidly as he studied the humans. "Others have fought the Vex before," Wind Singer said through a translation device. "All have failed." "Others weren't human," Rodriguez replied simply. Wind Singer's head tilted to one side. "What do you want from us?" "To be your new masters." Dr. Bell stepped forward. "We want nothing from you except alliance. The Vex tried to enslave us too. We fought back. Now we're offering you the chance to do the same." The Kiruna were not immediately convinced. 50 years of Vex rule had taught them to be suspicious. But when humans began providing medical aid to injured Kiruna and sharing technology to rebuild their world, attitudes slowly changed. Kevin Weber established engineering teams to work with Kiruna technicians. He discovered that before the Vex invasion, the avian species had developed impressive atmospheric technology that allowed them to create weather patterns. "Your people could help us terraform damaged worlds," he told a Kiruna engineer as they worked together to repair a weather control station. As the liberation of Proxima Centauri continued, the human fleet received a distress signal from a nearby star system. A species calling themselves the Tholians begged for help. They had heard rumors of the Vex defeat on Earth and hoped for rescue. Rodriguez brought the request to his command staff. "We didn't expect to find allies so quickly." "It's not just the Tholians," Dr. Bell added. "I've been studying Vex communication logs. Word is spreading through their empire that they can be beaten. Other enslaved species are beginning to resist." The human fleet divided. Half remained to help the Kiruna rebuild their world and establish defenses against potential Vex retaliation. The other half, led by the Defiance, set course for the Tholian homeworld. In the following months, a pattern emerged. Each liberated species brought unique abilities and technology to the growing alliance. The crystalline Tholians provided advanced energy systems. The telepathic Morrow offered insights into Vex psychology. Each victory made the next one easier. Dr. Bell made a critical discovery while working with scientists from various species. The Vex didn't just enslave these worlds randomly, she reported to Rodriguez. They specifically targeted species with unique abilities, then prevented them from communicating with each other. Why? Rodriguez asked. Because together, these species could have rivaled Vec's power, she explained. They weren't just conquerors. They were afraid of what these species might become if united. For the first time, the Admiral smiled. Then let's show them exactly what they feared. As the human-led coalition liberated more worlds, the Vec's response became increasingly desperate. 6 months after the first contact with the Corinna, 16 species had joined the alliance against their former oppressors. Each victory made the next one easier as the coalition learned more about Vec's weaknesses. The Vec's tactics grew erratic and unpredictable. They abandoned positions they should have defended and wasted resources on meaningless attacks. Their once perfectly coordinated fleet movements became disorganized. On the bridge of the Defiance, Admiral Rodriguez studied reports from the latest battle. His enhanced mind processed the information quickly, finding patterns that others might miss. Something's changed, he told Maria. The Vex aren't just losing. They're falling apart. Intelligence gathered from captured commanders revealed why. The Collected's Overmind, a biological supercomputer that directed their entire civilization, had never encountered a scenario it couldn't predict. Humans and their allies didn't follow expected patterns. The Overmind was experiencing the equivalent of a mental breakdown. In the war room of the Coalition flagship, representatives from all 16 liberated species gathered around a holographic display. Dr. Bell presented their next target, a massive ring world orbiting a dying star. This is the Vex homeworld, she explained. According to our intelligence, the Overmind is located there. Wind Singer of the Corinna spread his 4 wings in what humans had learned was a gesture of concern. Many of my people still bear scars from Vex experiments. To attack their homeworld directly would mean terrible losses. We're not suggesting a frontal assault, Rodriguez replied. We've learned too much about fighting smarter, not harder. Kevin Weber stepped forward. He had spent months working with engineers from all coalition species, combining their unique technologies. We've developed something new, he said, bringing up diagrams of a specialized weapon. The Vex connect to their Overmind through quantum communication. This device can disrupt that connection temporarily. The plan took shape. While the main fleet engaged Vex defenses, a smaller strike team would infiltrate the ringworld and deploy Weber's device. The goal wasn't to destroy the Vex, but to disconnect them from the Overmind that controlled them. As the coalition fleet prepared for the final battle, Admiral Rodriguez stood before an assembly of human and alien soldiers. Representatives from all 16 species listened as he spoke. 2 years ago, the Vex came to Earth believing that conquest was their right. They thought we would calculate the odds and surrender. They never understood that humans don't accept predetermined outcomes. He looked around at the gathered allies, the feathered Corinna, the crystalline Folians, the telepathic Morrow, and many others. And now they face not just humanity, but all the species they try to keep apart. Together, we've proven that diversity of thought and experience is our greatest strength. The battle for the Vex homeworld began with the largest space engagement in known history. Thousands of ships clashed in the light of the dying star. The coalition fleet suffered heavy losses penetrating the ringworld's defenses, but the unpredictable attack patterns created by combining 16 species tactics created gaps that the Overmind couldn't counter. On the surface of the ringworld, the strike team fought their way toward the central core. Kelly Martins led the human contingent, alongside special forces from each allied species. Their diverse abilities complemented each other perfectly. Kerma could fly through areas humans couldn't reach. Tholian crystal technology could disrupt Vex energy fields, and enhanced humans could process battlefield information faster than any other species. Remember, Kelly told her multinational, multi-species strike team as they approached the Overmind chamber, we're not here for vengeance. We're here to end tyranny. The chamber doors opened to reveal something none of them expected. The Overmind wasn't a machine as they had assumed. It was biological. A massive neural network spanning kilometers of the ringworld's inner surface. and connected to it were thousands of Vex, their bodies integrated with the system in a way that made it impossible to tell where individuals ended and the collective began. "They're all connected," Dr. Bell whispered as she studied the readings on her device. "They're not just controlled by the Overmind. They are the Overmind." The final phase of the plan suddenly became much more complicated. They weren't just fighting an enemy. They were confronting an entire species that had lost its individuality generations ago. The Overmind chamber stretched farther than the eye could see. Thousands of Vex bodies connected to a massive biological computer through glowing tubes and wires. The machine pulsed with a sickly blue light. Kelly Martinez looked at Dr. Bell, waiting for guidance. Their mission had been to disable the Overmind, but they hadn't expected to find the Vex physically bound to it. "We can't just destroy it," Kelly said. "That would kill them all." Dr. Bell studied the readings on her device. Her enhanced mind processed the information rapidly. "The Vex weren't always like this," she said after a moment. "According to these readings, they'd modified themselves generations ago. They sacrificed their individuality for collective efficiency. They're prisoners of their own creation," said Windsinger, his feathers rippling with emotion. Dr. Bell made a decision that would change the course of the war. "We don't need to destroy the Overmind. We can separate the biological components from the machine." The coalition forces secured the chamber while Dr. Bell, Kevin Weber, and scientists from various species worked to understand the Overmind systems. They discovered that the original Vex species had created the neural network to improve their efficiency. Over time, they became dependent on it, until being connected was no longer a choice but a requirement. "We can disconnect them safely," Dr. Bell explained to Admiral Rodriguez over the communication link. "But we don't know what kind of beings will emerge. They haven't known individual thought for thousands of years." "Do it," Rodriguez ordered. "Everyone deserves a chance at freedom, even our enemies." The procedure took hours. Coalition medical teams standing by to care for Vex as they were carefully disconnected. Many of the aliens were confused and disoriented. Their bodies, evolved for connection to the Overmind, struggled to function independently. As more Vex were freed, a pattern emerged. Without the Overmind's control, the collective fractured into independent groups. Some reacted with violence, unable to cope with individual thought. Others seemed almost childlike, experiencing free will for the first time. "Help them," Kelly told her soldiers as they secured newly disconnected Vex. "Remember, they're victims too." Across the galaxy, Vex forces suddenly found themselves cut off from the collective's guidance. Some continued fighting out of confusion. Others simply stopped, awaiting instructions that would never come. Without the Overmind, the empire that had terrorized dozens of worlds for centuries simply fell apart. 1 year later, representatives from 32 species gathered on Earth to sign the Stellar Concordat. The principles were simple: mutual defense, technological exchange, cultural preservation, and a prohibition against forced assimilation. President Harris and Admiral Rodriguez welcomed delegates to the new council chamber built in what was once Washington, D.C. Among them were former enemies, a delegation of Vex, now calling themselves the Free Collective. They moved awkwardly, still adapting to independent existence. The Vex representative, who had chosen the name Builder, addressed the assembly. "We believed efficiency was the highest goal," Builder said in halting speech. "We sacrificed choice for certainty. We thank you for showing us another way." Kevin Weber, now heading the Concordat's technological division, stood beside Dr. Bell as they watched the signing ceremony. "They pushed us to the brink of extinction," he said quietly. "But in doing so, they unveiled what humans do best: adapt, innovate, and transform defeat into something greater than victory." Dr. Bell nodded. The Vex thought they were superior because they eliminated unpredictability. They never understood that chaos and choice are where true growth happens. As the ceremony concluded, the first joint expedition prepared to explore beyond known space. The flagship, Resilience, carried scientists and explorers from 20 species, including humans and reformed Vex. Its mission wasn't conquest but discovery, carrying forward the lesson that diversity of thought and experience was the greatest strength of all. The universe had once trembled at the Vex Collective's approach. Now it watched with interest as a new coalition, born from humanity's refusal to surrender, charted a different path among the stars. Kelly Martinez, now commander of the Resilience, gave the order to depart. "Take us out," she said, looking at her diverse crew. "We have a lot to learn out there. And this time, we're doing it together." The ship accelerated smoothly into the darkness, carrying the shared dreams of species who had once been enemies, but now faced the future as allies.